The removal of controversial monuments is rooted in the idea that public spaces should reflect the values of contemporary society. Monuments celebrated individuals or events associated with racism, colonialism, or other forms of oppression can be seen as perpetuating harmful ideologies and contributing to the marginalization of certain communities. Removing controversial monuments can raise questions about censorship, historical preservation's role of public memory, and symbolism. According to my perspective, the monument should not be removed from the society or public spaces because it connects us with our past. Also, they are the great way to transfer the information or history from one generation to another. The debate surrounding the removal of controversial monuments is complex and multifaceted, often involving consideration of historical significance, culture, representation, and societal values. While some argue for the removal of such monuments due to their association with oppressive or controversial figures or ideologies, others contend that they should remain as a reminder of history even if it is dark or contentious. Furthermore, the presence of many monuments can be deeply hurtful to communities that have been historically marginalized or oppressed. For instance, indigenous people may find statues of colonial figures offensive, reminders of colonial violence and depositions. Similarly, African American communities may see statues of Confederate leaders as a symbol of systemic racism and ongoing legacy of slavery. In a nutshell, a monument is a type of public honorific art. It is public in that it is intended by its sponsors and creators to be located in a public space on view to the general public. And it is honorific in that it is intended by its sponsors and creators to express admirations or esteem, usually for some person, but occasionally for a place or a concept. Both sides of monuments debates tend to reduce the point at issue to a simply binary to remove or not to remove. To remove a monument from its public place of honor is to act in a manner directly contrary to the monument's purpose. There are actually a wide range of recontextualization strategies, short of removal, that might constitute adequate responses to worries about a particular monument, for example, the addition of signage or other works of art. However, there are at least three conservative arguments that even monuments to Confederate should not be removed from the public places of honor. The first argument captures that the slippery slope concern voiced by a number of conservatives, including the last president. The idea is that there is some moral threshold below which it is clearly impermissible to honor a person with a monument. Activists who call for the removal of Confederate monuments said that threshold too high applied consistently. Their preferred threshold would make it impossible to honor not only Confederates but many worthy figures from the history, such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and even Abraham Lincoln. As the Chicago Tribune editorialized, if purity is the threshold, there will be no monuments. The people who call for the removal of monuments are hypocrites, for they either unknowingly engaged in or endorsed moral wrongs that will in future be viewed with the same sort of abhorrence as the wrongs of the monumentalized. But hypocrites do not have the standing to blame others. So, if the calling for the removal of monuments is an expression of blame, then many those who so advocate do not have the standing to do so. And if they lack of standing to do so, then they presumptively should not do so. Erasing history simply means destroying something that existed in the past. Tearing down monuments erases history in precisely the same way as tearing down an old house. Opponents of taking down the monuments sometimes argues that they teach us important lessons about our shared history. This argument at least offers a reason why it may be desirable to preserve this particular class of objects. The trouble is that the story they tell is often distorted and misleading precisely because they were intended not to educate but to imitate one group of citizens and cultivate admiration for the Confederacy in another. Hence, even controversial monuments should not be removed because this will not only erase the history but a future generation will remain unaware of the importantly monuments. Thank you.